Hello, my very good friends. On today's incredible installment of comic book news, the X-Men prepare for the Hellfire Gala. Batman gets a new sidekick, and the Predator returns to Marvel Comics. All that plus a new LGBTQ Captain America. Black Hammer continues, and the comic book industry prepares for Free Comic Book Day. So, let's get on with it. I'm Henry, and this is the news. Alright, first off, the X-Men are throwing the party of the century, and you're invited this June during the Hellfire Gala. Now, the Hellfire Gala is a unique moment in X-Men history because it's basically just a really big party that's going to unveil the new team of X-Men, as well as play host to a myriad of other moments. It's going to unfold over 12 different issues, basically all the different X-Men books that are coming out this June, and the centerpiece of it all will be Planet-Sized X-Men #1 by Jerry Duggan and artist Pepe Larraz. Now, beyond that, we don't really know a whole lot about the Hellfire Gala, but we have seen what the X-Men are going to be wearing. So, I thought it would be fun to run down some of these fabulous outfits designed by Russell Dauterman and just tell you what I think of all of these incredible looks. Absolute goddess. Looking sharp. Perfectly dweeby. Literally a queen. What's that puffy shirt quote from Seinfeld? Hot mess and I'm here for it. I'm not surprised, but I am terrified. That headpiece is killer. My favorite himbo. Sci-fi's most iconic hunter is on the loose this June in the pages of Predator. Now, this new ongoing series comes from writer Ed Brisson and artist Kev Walker and follows a young woman whose family was murdered by the Predator, and now years later she's all grown up and she wants her revenge. So, she takes it upon herself to hunt down the Predator, but will she survive or die trying? I am very excited for the series. The creative team of Ed Brisson and Kev Walker is honestly perfect for a title like this. I mean, Kev Walker can get really gritty, really violent with his work, and Ed Brisson, I mean, he literally wrote a comic called The Violent. I can't wait to see what he has in store for the Predator. I think this is a really cool direction for the series, and I can't wait to see what happens when the Predator is unleashed. Marvel is going green this June with the release of Gamma Flight. Now, this new series comes from Immortal Hulk writer Al Ewing and writer Crystal Frazier and will be drawn by artist Lam Medina. It follows Gamma Flight, a team of heroes designed to take down the Hulk, till one day they joined him. Now, they're on the run, but will these gamma-radiated heroes break down before they can secure their freedom? Gamma Flight is a very eclectic group of characters. It's headlined by Puck, Absorbing Man, Titania, Dr. Charlene McGowan, Doc Sasquatch, and Rick Jones. So there are no headliners here, but nonetheless, I'm really excited. I actually really like when Al Ewing is given subsidiary characters to focus on because he can tell really great stories with characters that people might not be too familiar with. And right now, Immortal Hulk is hot, hot, hot. And even though we know that that book is going to be coming to an end fairly soon, I think it's great to see that it has spin-off potential, and I'm really excited to see how this story unfolds. Marvel will be introducing a new LGBTQ Captain America this June in the pages of the United States of Captain America. Now, this new series is being written by Christopher Cantwell with art by Dale Eaglesham and follows Steve Rogers, U.S. Agent, Winter Soldier, and Falcon as they travel across America, meeting the Captain Americas that they have inspired along the way. So, in issue #1, we meet Aaron Fisher, who is the Captain America of the Railways. He will also be appearing in the backup story by writer Josh Trujillo and artist Jan Boswalda. I think it's really great that Marvel is going to be expanding the mythos of Captain America and talking about the heroic legacy of the mantle and how it can be used to inspire the people across the country. I think it's really great that they're starting with an LGBTQ character. Aaron Fisher is going to be a young gay man, and I think it's really fun that he's also going to be somebody, I guess, from the Midwest, right? Like, he's Captain America of the Railways, so he's from, like, maybe the Midwest or the West Coast. I don't know, but I'm going to be reading this book. I'm really excited for it, and I think it's really cool that they're doing something like this. Writer Ta-Nehisi Coates has confirmed that he'll be ending his acclaimed run on Captain America this June at issue #30. Now, Ta-Nehisi Coates took over the Captain America title on the 4th of July back in 2018 and has been writing his adventures ever since. He's also wrapping up his tenure as the writer for Black Panther, so that means that he has no more projects at Marvel. Presumably, The next thing that he's going to be working on is this supposed Superman script that he's working on for a J.J. Abrams produced Superman film, so we'll have to see what comes of that. But I think it's very interesting that they're going to be ending this book right in June, so they kind of have that built-in marketing that they're probably going to launch a new Captain America book in July, right? Like 4th of July is going to be coming up, and they're going to go, oh man, we need a Captain America book, and they're going to make a new Captain America book. But I am very happy with the quality of Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America book. Maybe it wasn't for everybody, but I did really enjoy it, and I'm very interested to see if he is working on a Superman screenplay, because I think he'd be a great fit. The Dark Knight is set to get a new sidekick of sorts this June in the pages of Batman the Detective. Now, this new series is written by Tom Taylor with art by Andy Kubert and follows a slightly older version of Batman as he travels across Europe searching for clues behind a horrible, violent mystery. This new character is also a mystery. We don't really know anything about this new character. All we have is a design to work off of. And based off of this design, I would say that this is the latest incarnation of the Squire. Now, tenured Batman fans will know that where there is Squire, there is often the Knight. Knight and Squire are like the Batman and Robin of Europe. So this looks like the latest version of that, and I'm excited for this book. I think it's really great that if you're in Europe, you take advantage of that and you use characters like Squire. Who knows what happened to Knight? Who knows if that'll factor into the story? But I'm looking forward to finding out. I'm looking forward to this book. Tom Taylor's been doing a great job lately, and I loved his new Nightwing book. So that gives me the momentum I need to pick up this book, and I'm really curious to see how this character fits into it. Free Comic Book Day will be returning this year, albeit in a different time slot. Now, Free Comic Book Day is an annual tradition in which you go to your local comic book store and you say, hey, I want some free comics, and they give you a bunch of promotional comics produced by Marvel and DC and Image and IDW and every publisher on the planet pretty much. So this year it is going to be taking place on August 14th. Now, traditionally, Free Comic Book Day is the first Saturday of May, but due to COVID-19 for the last year, we didn't get a Free Comic Book Day last year. They actually spaced it out over the course of like 2 months. And this year we're not getting it in May. We're getting it in August, where it'll be a lot safer for everybody involved. And I'm very happy to see that it is still going to be happening, because this year it'll be the 20th anniversary of Free Comic Book Day. And there's a lot of great books. There's going to be Avengers and Hulk. There's going to be Spider-Man and Venom. There's going to be Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's going to be The Boys. There's going to be Star Wars: The High Republic. And a lot more. There's like 50 different books on the list. We don't have any books from DC, but that's not too surprising, because DC for the last couple of years has kind of done Free Comic Book Day a bit differently anyway. They generally put out like a 25-cent book a couple of days in advance of Free Comic Book Day, and that book is included with Free Comic Book Day, you know, paraphernalia. So I'm really excited for it. I'm glad it's back. I'm excited for comics. You should be excited for comics. Go to your comic book store August 14th. Dark Horse has announced the next ongoing series from the popular Black Hammer line of titles, with the release of Black Hammer Reborn set to come out this June. Now, the book will be written by Jeff Lemire with art by Caitlin Yarsky and follows Lucy Weber, aka the Black Hammer, 20 years after she initially took on the mantle. Now, she's married and she has kids, and she's retired from being a superhero, but she finds herself drawn back into the action and forced to confront the very reason why she retired in the first place. I think this is really great to continue the story of Black Hammer. Black Hammer is such an in-depth superhero world, and is one of the most successful projects that Dark Horse has put together over the last decade, if we're being honest here. So I'm really excited for more content. I love everything that Jeff Lemire does, and I think Caitlin Yarsky is an incredible artist, and I really liked her work on Coyotes and Bliss over at Image. So I'm happy to see her on a high-profile book like this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where this book goes. Image Comics presents a bold new adventure in a classic, pulpy style this June with the release of Compass. Now, this 5-issue miniseries is being written by Robert McKenzie and Dave Walker, features the art of Justin Greenwood, and is being overseen by writer Greg Rucka. It takes place in the 13th century, and it follows a young woman who spends her days as a scholar and a cartographer and an adventurer as she sets out from Baghdad's House of Wisdom to Britain in the pursuit of the secret behind eternal life. This book sounds really fun. It sounds like a great classic adventure story, but told through a modern YA lens, which should make it accessible to a lot of readers. Plus, seeing Greg Rucka's name on this is like a seal of approval, because I don't think he's ever made anything that's less than excellent. So if he's confident in this title, I'm confident in this title, and I'm going to be looking forward to it in June. Horrors beyond your wildest dreams unfold in the pages of Parasomnia from writer Cullen Bunn and artist Andrea Moody. Now, this 4-issue miniseries will be coming out in June and is being published by Dark Horse Comics. It focuses on a father who is desperately searching for his missing son while trapped in a nightmarish dreamscape. Now, he's gonna have to fight to stay alive and try to make it out before a murderous cult takes over the land of dreams. This book sounds like it's gonna be very dark and very cool and very spooky, which is Cullen Bunn's wheelhouse, right? He does all these really great horror comics. This sounds like yet another. I'm also really excited for it because I really like Andrea Moody's art. I really dug Infinite Dark and I really dug Port of Earth, so I'm excited to see what he's able to do with this book, and I think it should be a fun little 4-issue mini. An epic tale of vengeance and survival unfolds this June in the pages of Basilisk. Now, this new series is being published by Boom Studios from writer Cullen Bunn and artist Jonah Sharf. The two of them previously worked together on Bone Parish, which was also published through Boom Studios, so they have a great track record. This series focuses on 5 people with supernatural abilities that choose to use these abilities to terrorize everybody in their path to get away with whatever they want. But one day, one of their victims confronts a member of these 5 and says, "Hey, that was horrible what you did to me," and that person goes, "Yeah, you're right. I'm going to make good on it. I'm going to wage war with the other 4 to cleanse my conscience." I make it sound almost fun when I say it like that, but this book looks like it's going to be anything but fun. It looks like it's going to be brutal. It looks like it's going to be gnarly, but it does look like it's going to be really cool. And the two of them have a great track record, Jonah Sharf and Cullen Bunn. So I'm very excited to see how the story unfolds, and I know it's going to be a hell of a ride. Evanescence will be making their comic book debut this June with the release of Echoes from the Void. Now, this series is going to be a compilation of different short stories that tie in with different Evanescence songs and albums, and it's being published by Heavy Metal Entertainment. Admittedly, this sounds kind of fun. I mean, it's ridiculous, and it's Evanescence doing a comic book, which is kind of crazy, but you know, it's a fun little promotional tactic. People do this kind of stuff from time to time. I think it's ultimately pretty harmless, and I think it could be potentially really ridiculous because, you know, I can't be the only person that would want to read a Bring Me Back to Life comic book or an, you know, My Immortal comic book, and you could make it look like Daredevil, but you can't use Daredevil, so make it really angsty and they put it in the rain, and it'd be silly. You can call me trash if you want, it's fine. I kind of like Evanescence. I know they're not good, but, you know, they're kind of fun for what they are, and I think that this book will be exactly that. It'll be fun for what it is. Archie Comics celebrates their 80th anniversary this June with the release of Everything's Archie. Now, this one-shot is coming to you from writer Fred Van Lente, who is making his Archie Comics debut, and it'll be drawn by longtime Archie artist Dan Parent. It focuses on Archie doing Archie things in the classic Archie manner, because you know what an Archie comic is, you know, Betty and Veronica and Jughead. Not the Riverdale style, the Archie Comics style, so it's classic family fun that everybody can enjoy. This one-shot is also going to be the first in a series of one-shots to celebrate 80 years of Archie, so presumably we'll get more of this down the line. I think it's fun. Archie Comics is always great for a good time. Those were like my first comics. The comics that got me into comics were Archie, so I think it's really great to see that they're still going, still making fun books, and I'm really looking forward to celebrating 80 years of Archie. Famed comic book creator Rob Liefeld will be leading a new line of superhero titles for Archie Comics starting this June with the release of Mighty Crusaders The Shield. Now, as the name implies, this is the latest revitalization of the classic Mighty Crusaders line of books, which was a superhero team that can trace its roots all the way back to the 1940s. It's going to be comprised of 4 different one-shots, and the first of which is The Shield. Admittedly, I try not to be too judgmental when I'm doing these news pieces, but I don't see a lot of value in this book. Rob Liefeld has a notoriety at this point in his career, and though I think that it'll make a bit of a splash when it first comes out because he's got diehard fans, I don't see this book having any staying power or appealing to anybody that's under the age of 30, even closer to the age of 40 if we're being honest here. So we'll see how this book does. Maybe if it's successful, they'll continue to produce books in this manner from this line of titles, but frankly, I'm not particularly confident in it. And in our final piece of news for this week, Zack Snyder has been trending for like basically the last 2 weeks because of the release of Zack Snyder's director's cut of Justice League. Now, along with that, he's done a lot of press, he's done a lot of interviews, and he talked about his original plans for the Snyderverse of movies, which included Superman and Lois Lane's son becoming the Batman of the future. Now, along with all these interviews, he also talked about how at one point he was talking to Jim Lee about doing a comic book that would adapt his ideas. So, right now we see hashtag restore the Snyderverse trending pretty much everywhere, right? The fans are very passionate about this work, but Warner Bros. Is very skeptical about realizing these ideas. So I think a comic book would actually be kind of perfect. I had a friend who suggested that it could be a digital first series, and I think that would be amazing because we've seen how well that works for a book like Injustice. You know, you have these darker alternate takes on popular characters, and it doesn't appeal to everybody, but if you do a comic book series, you can flesh out those ideas, you can see how it plays out over a longer period of time, and you can prove the haters wrong in a lot of those instances. So for something like the Snyder Cut, which has easily been one of the most divisive pieces of superhero media ever made, I think that would be great, and it would be a great opportunity to really play out these stories and see where they could go. So personally, that's what I would like to see. As far as what I think of the Snyder Cut itself, well, so that's it. Tell me, what was your favorite story that I talked about this week? Let me know in the comment section below. We could have a fun little chit chat about comics. And while you're at it, can you please like this video and share it with your friends so they too can enjoy the goodness of comic book news. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and sign up for notifications so you can stay up to date whenever I post a new video. And if you are so interested, you could follow me across social media at A White Cuban, where I continue to talk about comic books, or movies, or TV shows, or wrestling, or whatever. I am sorry that this week's video was late, but hopefully I made it worth it, and I promise you I will be back next week on Monday with more comic book news.